of like a kind of just general shape. Okay, so that's the end of class today. It went actually really well. One of the things I struggle with are humans, as you've already know. Like, if you're following this journey, you already know that that's one of my weak points. And so having to draw proportions in a given time period and present it to class is challenging, and just the challenge that I need. It's been great. I was completely unsure as to whether or not I would be able to actually get something proportionally accurate in time, but let me kind of explain what we are doing today. The first one, this isn't done. This was just what we kind of just managed to get done in class. It's a value study. We started with a contour drawing and made all the adjustments to make sure that it was proportionally accurate. So I will have to work on that for homework a little bit. And then this little cutie pie is a rounding study. From my understanding, it is to shade it in a way that gives it shape. I'm gonna keep working on this one a little bit. It's gonna look like a balloon human, hopefully, if I'm doing it right. If there's anything I've learned from these classes so far, it's the importance of these halftones in accurate drawings. I need to stop before I mess with it too much and push it too far.
How to paint is I still don't feel like the dark halftones are sequencing quite correctly. Irregularity to the shape, but also specificity to the change. It's harder to perceive, but it happens a little bit with the eye too. I don't think I realness there, and it could be articulated just a little bit better. We'll round the painting out a lot more, having more of those transitions, and the specificity of the shadow shape. And that's one of those things like no one can read you because it's such a specific attention to it, but in terms of how to physically execute it, it's such a like subtle and personal thing that you sort of have to for next week. The goal is just to get the block in for the color. So exactly.
Welcome back to the horse girl season, where half the time I look like a dirty horse girl on camera. Otherwise I'd have to change like 3 times a day, and I get it. There's some content creators that do that, but in all honesty, like, who has time for that? Also, let me show you some things. So all of these art classes have me so inspired. One, my sketchbooks, where I should have put wax paper between all the pages to stop it from smudging, but Inktober, which I don't do with ink. I sketch because ink and I do not get along. And then I got my gouache notebook out, which is like a really cute, really simple, just honestly, just play. I got a pochade, I believe that's what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pochade box. Plein air is not something I've ever really done, nor have I had the tools to kind of do it. So excited to use it. Be able to paint anywhere, everywhere. Do you want to see some of the books? One by James, the master, James Gurney. We have Color and Light. I love this one. I'm sitting down and reading it right now. It just has like everything that you need in order to understand light and color. Color harmony. This book I am absolutely addicted to, and it actually has like palettes in it that, yeah, preset palettes for just kind of like color schemes. One of my favorites that I'm gonna be focusing on a lot over the next month is Keys to Drawing with Imagination. This one is super cool for unlocking creativity and just kind of almost finding your own style. They give you a lot of really cool exercises to just loosen up and practice. And if you don't really know what to put in a sketchbook, this one is phenomenal. Over the next little while, I'm going to be reading those very diligently. Well, I'm trying to save canvas. This is either going to go phenomenally or not phenomenally. To be a professional show jumper, so I was a professional athlete, and then I had a back injury that kind of led me into art, but I've always been like around art. But yeah, that's what I do full time, and I'm on YouTube and all of that nonsense.
You can figure out a lot on your own, but you can learn things faster if someone who has already just studied it for a really long time, where you just do the figure and we ignore the background, and you can still get a lot of light and volume, in which case the way you have it, kind of just the darkness of the contour kind of stands in for the value of the background in relation to the figure. Really good. Or any questions on it?
No questions. That makes sense.
So far, that nose area especially is feeling really good to me right now. Or like in any large ways, just the hand, which I won't be too picky about since we're mainly to go. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, if I'm just looking at, any really major gripes, the nose is maybe a little bit on the long side, which shouldn't be too terribly hard to fix. Like I think overall your big separation of light and shadow feels good to me, despite the
Okay, last drawing class of this semester is done. It was awesome. I learned so much, and I actually got quite a bit of confidence just because I had never honestly drawn a person like without a grid, and just it was really cool to watch it go from start to finish. I've also never been made to do anything like this, so I can definitely say that having a technique-based learning and then also getting critiques to just push me further and in the right direction was invaluable, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to try some other places just because why not try a bunch of different places to learn from. But overall, this experience is everything that I've wanted it to be and more, which is lucky. And I'll show you this kind of up close, maybe. I don't want to get blocked on YouTube either, but drawing class done, and it was really cool, really informative. really, really helpful. So thank you to the Academy and the instructors, because this was awesome. If you're interested, since I'm done now, I did go through the New York Academy of Art, and I really loved all of the courses that they offer, the semester base. They have in-person ones if you live closer, but the fact that I live on the West Coast and can still take their courses was really, really cool. They give you quite a bit of information about each instructor so that you can pick which one you really want to learn from, which was also a really great thing because no one likes to learn from someone they don't respect. So, not to say, I mean, you still can. You can still learn something from everyone, but being able to just kind of look at your instructor's work and their experience and everything made a big difference because I picked exactly who I wanted to learn from. So that was cool. We've got one more. We've got the oil painting class this afternoon, and then we're done, which is crazy. I can't believe it's been 6 weeks already. Let's do a close-up of what we've got.
It usually just necessitates picking a stiffer brush. So I bought one of everything over the course of the last 10 years. Happening at a less perpendicular angle to the painting. So glancing at this, yes, the John painter, so forgive me if that's completely good. Proportions feel pretty good. I won't focus too much on that. And then I would say, okay, to start with the good, there is a lot of really nice particularness to like this nostril shape. At the broadest level, I think the shapes could be a bit more specific. I was describing of, even though I can see some specificity at this kind of like small scale, getting that. But when I look at the Bouguereau, I just feel like it has more irregularity. It is sometimes, even if you're aware of that being the problem, there's sort of like a material quality holding you back. Like there's something about like the combination of materials you're using, or who knows, any number of variables that are kind of making it hard to achieve. You're transitioning between tones, and like it feels very smooth, but the rate at which the value changes still doesn't feel quite right. So all of these tiny little bands starting to happen, and you might not necessarily be able to mix all those bands. Some of them may need to be manually mixed on the palette. Some of them may need to be produced by just kind of working wet paint into wet paint.
Okay, that's the last class. I can't believe it. That's 6 weeks done, but got my feedback on this one, worked on this one while I was in class, and that is it for my oil painting class. I learned so much. Again, it helped immeasurably to be able to just get that critique and that feedback. And even still, just for the record and for myself, just to kind of like regurgitate information, the specificity of my lines, I need to improve on that, on like the actual shape of like what that shadow or that highlight, like instead of blobbing it, like get really specific with the type of shape. And with that, there needs to be more adjustments in the value tones to give stuff more roundness and more shape to them. He kind of went through it, but like, yeah, like that needed to be more specific, and also have just like more, all of these just needed more in between values. And like the eyelid, he posterized it so you could see like every single transition that happened, and it was great. And I understand what he's saying. I just need to practice many times over to kind of get that into my head. But overall, I am so happy I'm doing this. I'm gonna keep up with my art school journey. I've got one big one coming up, which I'll talk about when we get there. But as far as Tuesday goes, it is now just about 6:30 p.m. I'm gonna be done painting with oil for today. I've got to go check on horses, get animals kind of buttoned up, and then I'll be back in and we'll just kind of see what the rest of the evening looks like.